Okay, except I'm not too freaked out. I've never been attacked by a coyote. That's just like right over across the fire lane from me.
Budget-friendly camping. You don't have to go out and buy a big expensive tent and expensive bivy sack.
What are you trying to say?
No, I just...
Ew. Welcome back, comrades, and look who I got with me. Mrs. Angel Survival. So we're out here at the Secret Pine Forest, and we're gonna do that overnighter I was telling you guys about in my last bow drill video. And Angel isn't staying all night. She's just kind of gonna hang out during the day. So you might see her from time to time. But the high of today is 63 with a low of, they keep fluctuating it from 41 to 43. So this is definitely gonna be an experiment because we're gonna be making a survival shelter along with 2 wool blankets. And I got a little bit of experiment how we're gonna make this shelter to combine with the wool blankets. So yeah, it's gonna definitely be interesting. But so either I'm gonna freeze tonight or I'm gonna do pretty good. So who knows? And I came out here last weekend and I went to the same campsite, and guess what? It's all tore up. And so I was like, man, I reserved the campsite. So went to the office and talked to them, and they wondered when I was gonna show up. And I still want the campsite because it's really cool. So they let me still have it. However, I'm taking a chance because the people that are working out here, that are tearing down all the trees, are tearing down pine trees. It's part of a plantation thing. It's a private company. They have no control over it. So I'm taking a chance. So we're headed there now. So hopefully they're not working the day.
They're logging.
Logging, yeah. You heard her. So they're logging basically. They're for marketing. So yeah, it's kind of a bummer. It was a really nice spot. It's still gonna be nice, but I don't know. It's a little frustrating. Nothing I can do about it. So either they're gonna be out there working today. If not, I might be waking up to them in the morning. I don't know. Just a chance we gotta take, right? See where the bulldozers and stuff have been through here, tearing it up. Okay, we made it to the campsite. If you guys remember what it looked like in my last video, go back and look at it. It's what it looks like now. Here's the trail to walk through to get to it. Look at it now. I mean, look how much they cleared it out. It is insane. Plenty of firewood and plenty of stuff to make a survival shelter. So we're in good business. Do what? Yeah. Get this pack off and we'll get started with the survival shelter. And for this survival shelter, we're going to need 3 poles, and the first pole we're gonna cut, it's gonna be probably, at least it's preference, but for me, 6 foot, so probably 3 feet longer than me. And then the 2 other poles that's part of this shelter system, they're gonna be shorter. So they'll probably be above my, I'm gonna measure them to my waist and go probably 2 feet past my waist. And so I'll go get that gathered up, and we'll start getting this thing put together. We'll do it step by step. Get firewood? Yeah. So before we get the shelter going, I just wanted to bring you by here and show you the mess kit pouch I have. It's a Russian mess kit pouch for the East German canteen set I have. Sposn is the brand, and this is also another Russian pouch, and it holds my food. Snug pack. I think it's called the Endurance pack. Of course, I brought a pad too, but I'll show you the rest of it inside as we go through it. But right now, you know what time it is. Silky time. So we're gonna get some stuff cut up. There's Miss Angel Survival. She's gonna do some crocheting. Oh, she's gonna eat donuts.
It's mushed.
All right, I already found my first pole right here. This is perfect. Perfect length. So we'll get that cut up. Okay, we have our 3 sticks now. The middle one's longer, and the one on each side is shorter. So do your slip knot is what you want to use. You bring that over, and you take this one, your longest part of the paracord, and then draw that through. And what'll happen, so I get this around the wood, it'll pull tight around the wood like that, and cinch it all down nice and tight. Just wrap it around those 3. And I'd say probably bring it in, I don't know, about right there, because they're going to spread out when you get it going. So and we'll just cinch that up like that. See, no fancy knot needed. Then all I do, once I get that tight on there, okay, is I'll just tie this end here off so it doesn't come undone or anything, which is probably more likely not going to. And then I'll just wrap it all the way around. And you gotta remember, this survival shelter, it's just a survival shelter. It's not like a permanent structure, so you don't gotta have all these fancy knots. At least that's how I see it, but this isn't bushcraft. That's all I'm gonna say. This isn't bushcraft. This is survival. Maybe not today, but you get my point. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we're just gonna stand it up. Just gotta work with it a little bit. Actually, that one, oh, I got mixed up here. That needs to be on this side. There we go. Ah, there. Here is your main frame right there. You see, all I got is it's just basically the paracord what's holding it all together. Very simple to do. Especially in a survival situation. Okay, so our next step is we got it where we want. I might lower it a little bit. I want to grab maybe 4 more sticks, put one here and put another one there, on both sides. Maybe we'll do 3 on each side. So we got our pieces cut, and I actually got a couple more I'm going to cut, I think. And let's have a little gap between the pieces here, going down the whole length of the spine, if you want to call it that. So I'll show you why we're doing it this way in a minute. But we're going to connect these, but we're going to connect it with not paracord. We're going to connect it with T-Rex tape. And this stuff I love. I used this on one of my shelters in the past, and it held up for over 2 years. So I'm a firm believer in this stuff. I don't really know how to do this. I've never done T-Rex tape, but we'll just move that one out of the way. Get my camera to stay on there. So I think we're just gonna, because all we're doing is just holding them on there. It's not like we're getting too carried away with super knots or anything. So we'll just go around one more time and be done. And that's it. I think that's good. So yeah, that's just gonna hold that on there. There's Angel. There's the shelter. This is what we got done so far, guys. So we use T-Rex tape, T-Rex tape, T-Rex tape, and then bank line. The reason why I took some back off the poles is because I got to use this for our next step, and I forgot all about that. I didn't think I was going to use a lot of T-Rex tape, but apparently I did. So our next step is to put the cover on. Now I'm going to turn you guys around here. The reason why I roughly, measured these out and these two to 5 foot is because I have a 10 by 25 foot black sheeting, 3 mil. I didn't bring all of it, of course, but I cut it. So basically I cut it to the length of the spine, but with it being 10 foot wide, cut that in half. There's 5 and 5 on each side. So roughly, hopefully, when we put this on, it's gonna fit over just nice. So go ahead and spread out the black sheeting, but there's also a little kicker to that because we're gonna add something to it. Here's the black sheeting right here. Just throw that over there. But what we're gonna add is a space blanket, and that's what I need the T-Rex tape for, because we're gonna tape that space blanket onto that once we get it all folded out. And I might need you, Miss Angel Survival, to help me with it being a little bit windy. She said, "Oh," she said, "Okay." So. It's doing pretty good so far. Surprised it hasn't moved on me. Basically, I'm just getting it in the center of this black tarp. Use too much tape here because I'm gonna need a lot of it probably. All right, we got the space blanket taped in the middle of the ground sheet. It's not like I can rely on one thing, if that makes any sense. So basically, I can't rely on just my clothing in this overnight. I have to rely on multiple components. So that's the reason why I'm doing it this way, but I will show you once I get it all put together. All right. Back here and grab this. Okay, now we want to get that in the center of the shelter. Right there, perfect. Okay. How's that look? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So here it is, guys, so far. So my next step is to attach this sheeting to these, and so that's what we're going to do next. There's what it looks like so far. Got T-Rex tape right there, some more there, and that's it. So our next step is to start putting dirt, twigs, pine needles, whatever you can, which I got going on back here, all the way around the perimeter of it. It almost kind of acts like a winter shelter. In a winter shelter, you put snow around the edge of your shelter to hold it in. So it's kind of the same thing, just springtime, well, early spring. Actually, it's not even spring yet, but you get my point. Okay, got our perimeter done all the way around it, just like a snow shelter if you're putting it around your tent or something. But now we need to put some boughs on the top of it, or tree limbs, whatever we can, because the wind is already starting to pick up and it's blowing this. Obviously the wind's going in between the sticks and blowing the tarp around, or the sheeting. So we need to put some weight on the outside. So that's our next step. Right over here we have a bunch of pine. So we're going to use this. Shelter is pretty much complete. As you can see, I am sweating. Starting to get a little warm out here. Now, if you guys remember, if you watched in my extreme cold weather camp out that I did, I gave you a little bit of cold weather survival tips. And one of the really most important ones was your clothing, and not to just rely on a fire to keep you warm. You want to rely on your clothing. And I explained that. I'll put a link up to that video and I'll explain why you need to rely on your clothing to keep you warm, or not a fire. I'm not saying you don't have a fire. I'm just saying you can't rely on that. However, a survival situation might occur. So you might not be prepared. You might be just an average Joe and never done anything like this in your life. So you don't have everything that you need. So that's when you're gonna need more than just one thing to survive. So what I'm getting to is the point of this survival shelter, the way I made it, it's got multiple components to it, and it's for a reason. Now let me just give you a survival scenario. I'm lost. You know, I had a little bit of a kit on me. I had some T-Rex tape. I had a saw, and I had black sheeting with me and a space blanket, okay? Let's just say I had that. I was just doing a day hike. But I kept that with me because I never know when I'm going to be in a survival situation. Remember, survival starts in the head. So I'm already kind of somewhat prepared. If I have to stay overnight, I have materials to make a shelter, combined with making a fire, because I have my knife and I have my fire kit as well. So with that said, I'm gonna turn you guys around here. The shelter is pretty much done. There is some more components that need to be added to it, but let's start off inside of here. So I have the space blanket taped onto the black sheeting. And the reason why I did that is because space blankets reflect heat. Theoretically, I've never used one. That's what they're supposed to do. So with me sleeping under here, of course, fire pit's right here. So my idea is the fire is going to come this direction, and not just any fire will do that. And the fire is going to reflect off the space blanket and hopefully keep me a little warmer. But not any fire is going to do that.
What kind of fire?
What kind of fire? It's going to be the Illinoisan Siberian log fire. And my favorite fire lay is my favorite. And the reason why is because the heat radiates the heat radiates outward. As you've seen in plenty of my videos, it does that. So that doesn't have to be proven, it is a fact. So it radiates out. Radiates. There you go. So I got Miss Angel Survival to correct me. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
So it radiates, right? Did I say it right? Okay. It radiates out. And here I am in my 2 wool blankets, which I have tonight. Now, the floor, I brought my sleeping pad. But I think I'm still going to put some pine needles down just for a little bit of extra cushioning, because it's going to get cold on the ground too. I've never done a wool blanket video, so it's going to be this is an experiment. And then on top here, I have the pine boughs, if you want to call it that. Usually you see spruce boughs, but these are pine. And really all that's doing is just holding the tarp down, or the sheeting down. And that's all I really had that for. That's all I need it for. So that is relying on not just your shelter, not just your clothing, but I'm relying on my shelter. I'm relying on the fire to produce heat, the radiant off the space blanket to keep me warm at night. And I'm relying on a wool blanket, and I'm going to rely on the pine needles if I put those down on my sleeping pad.
Multiple sources of protection.
Yes, multiple sources of protection, as Miss Angel Survival pointed out. So that's my point. It's going to be an experiment. I've never done a wool blanket video. So 43 degrees a night, We're gonna find out. It's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. So don't leave, stick around. We got a lot more coming. Right now, I gotta make a fire for Angel, so I'm gonna get a fire going for her, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Now, you don't really need a Siberian log fire in 43-degree weather, but I'm from Illinois, and I've never done this before, so, and I want a fire that's gonna radiate heat. Hopefully Angel didn't hear me, because obviously I can't say that word right. Okay, shh, my father said that. So here we have this big old tree. So that's what we're gonna cut up for tonight. I won't light this one until tonight. Okay, I'm gonna take a break for a little bit, guys. Got Angel's fire going, well, our fire. And she gonna do some more crochet. Or is it knitting?
This is crochet.
So I'm gonna sit with her for a little bit, enjoy our time together, and take a little break. So I've been working since I got here. And we'll go ahead and make a tripod cooking stand. Don't really need to go into detail, I'll just put a link up here on the screen how to make one of those for cooking. And we'll go from there. See you guys in a bit. All right, guys, I'm gonna get off here. I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, so we're gonna make the cooking tripod now, and I'll put a link up on the screen for that video. But same thing as we did the shelter, you just make your slip knot, and then you just pull it tight. And you just wrap it around and then tie it off. That's all you got to do, because this isn't bushcraft. All right, let me just set her up like this.
Being primitive as much as possible, using what you have.
Yep.
Budget friendly.
Budget friendly. There you go.
Budget friendly camping. You don't have to go out and buy a big expensive tent and expensive bivy sack.
Oh, what are you trying to say?
No, I didn't mean it like that.
There it is. Doesn't look pretty, but it works. Then we'll hang our food straight down.
Looks like maybe it could be tighter.
It could be, but it doesn't need to be.
Okay.
I'm not gonna hang from it.
All right.
Yep.
I might want to though. Try swing.
All right, here it is, guys. Just a simple slip knot around it. It's loose, but it doesn't bother. I mean, it's fine. It's not going to go anywhere. So that's what we're going to cook with. I'll stand over the fire. I don't think we got to get a fire going again. She's getting smoked out. You better move, Angel.